Representative Eric Burlison asked the UFO community what steps should Congress take next. I love it. They're getting advice from us guys. We've got to talk about it. So get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, from Matt Laszlo at Askable, always getting great interviews with Congresspeople. He caught up to Representative Eric Burlison from the Congressional U.A.P. caucus. He says, "What you got?" Eric Burlison says, when Timberchet asked about some of the data, they said that they had not received data from the Navy. That's pretty alarming, Burlison says. But it's been over a year. Arrow is not getting all the information that they want. I mean, they said that in general they are, most or all the other agencies are cooperative, but at the end of the day, they're not getting some of it. And he's talking about, the Arrow report and how they were coordinating with different agencies and different entities. And, they were getting responses or non-responses and the explanation from the non-responses. Anyway, it was a lot of nothing. It was a lot of nothing. And Eric Burlison is saying he's not satisfied by it, and good for him. Although he is putting on his kid gloves with Arrow, and he should take those gloves off, man. It's time to take the gloves off. Stop pretending the Arrow is anything other than the disinformation rag it is. Arrow has work to do. Probably the vast majority of the photos and videos, the vast majority are fake. Or are photos of things that are not necessarily UAP. Burlison tells us, and so that being said, I think that Arrow is not done. They still have some stuff to do, and I don't think that our job should be done either. And at the end of the day, we still have dark programs that are spending money that we don't have an answer for. So yeah, he may or may not be a believer in aliens, but he is absolutely a believer, seemingly, in rooting out these hidden programs. They are siphoning money away from congressionally approved programs, and the control group is directing it to their own programs. Congress has caught wind of this, and they are not happy about it, nor should they be. So good for him. Good for him. I hope they're able to get their hounds on the scent and to figure out where this money is going. Of course, the control group has been hiding this for a long time, so, my hopes are limited on that. But let's see. Caught our ear, and I thought this was really fun. Okay. He says, I'd like to hear from your community, the Ask-A-Polls UFO audience, what steps they think are the best steps to take next. Burlison tells us of our growing Ask-A-Poll army. I think that you guys want a guy like me, because at the end of the day, I'm going to shoot you straight. And if I see something that changed my worldview, you're going to know. Okay, well, very good. Like I say, Eric is not a big UFO guy or an alien guy, but he does see that there's something going on, and he wants to know what it is, and he's asking our help for steps to take. So what steps do you think Eric Burlison and the U.A.P. caucus should do next? I think they really, really need to go after the idea of a select committee or a subcommittee devoted exclusively to U.A.P. and UFOs, a committee that has a subpoena power where they can even compel hostile witnesses to come forward and testify. So yeah, that's kind of where I think their focus needs to be, and of course on more hearings. We need to hear from some of these 40 plus whistleblowers that David Grush discovered. So absolutely, those are some steps that I think they should take, but let me know what you think they should do. So yeah, absolutely great article from Askable, and of course I'll link to this, and you can read the rest of it at your leisure. Meanwhile, we have a new episode of The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. Probably my favorite UFO show or UFO related show on the air right now. Maybe of all time. Just a great show where they are bringing us UFO disclosure on a weekly basis during the TV season. And they have UFOs pretty much every episode. And in this episode, as no exception, they shoot up some rockets over the triangle. Travis has got to have his rockets. They see some anomalous stuff going on with the GPS. Of course, some UFOs show up. Now, what's interesting about these UFOs is they're kind of lenticular, and they may, at least one of them, may have wing-like structures on it. And what have we seen with the Dragon UAP? Well, we see wing-like structures on some of them. So very, very interesting. And, definitely some corroboration for Dr. Robert Shape, who has pioneered the research into the Dragon UAP. And we're now seeing all these, drones over Langley and Air Force bases and, buzzing planes, and etc. So I think that his research is really important, and it ties into all this other possible surveillance that the phenomenon is doing. It's hard to know what they're doing, what the phenomenon is up to, but they are up to something, and then it involves, relatively small UFOs around some of our stuff. So anyway, good stuff. Another key feature of last night's or the most recent episode is that there may be more evidence of a giant wolf, of a dire wolf. There was a tooth mark found on the rib of a deceased cow, and that tooth mark does not correspond to any known predator in the area. It corresponds very well to the skull of a dire wolf. That's right, a giant extinct wolf of the same type that has been seen on Skinwalker Ranch before. So finally, we're getting some giant wolves, guys. We're getting some giant wolves. Now I want to see some ghosty stuff. All right, or heck, I want to see the giant wolf, right? Or the wolf man, because there's at least one story where they're following the footprints of a giant wolf, and all of a sudden it's walking on two legs. So yeah, and of course then there is the less amusing, Jay Stratton information where his family was haunted by a werewolf or a skinwalker, whatever you want to call it. It sounded pretty scary. But yeah, so we're getting UFOs, we're getting skinwalkers, we're good stuff coming out of Skinwalker Ranch. I love it. Highly recommend that show. Meanwhile, a great interview with Paul Sinclair and Steve Mira. Paul is a researcher and also an experiencer. David Haith very fortunately breaks down some of this information. He says Paul Sinclair shows what he means about branching out of simply UFOs. And as I talk about all the time, the UFOs, although fascinating in and of themselves, only seem to be a subset of a larger phenomenon. And it's not even a distinct subset because it's all baked in. It's all connected with the poltergeist and the skinwalkers and the portals and it's all connected, guys. It's all connected. But so according to Paul Sinclair's information, in Yorkshire, UK, in the 90s, a bunch of workers in a warehouse experienced poltergeist dropping piles of gravel. They found giant footprints on car roofs. A huge Bigfoot figure was seen. 3 huge triangles flew over and disappeared. They saw a flying saucer with little beings inside. Roadblocks were set up by armed military and armed men in black, revealed secret photos of witnesses and demanded secrecy. I'm a little wonky on that sentence there. Paul and researcher Steve Mera say there's a far deeper paranormal phenomena which can materialize whatever it likes, maybe based on cultural patterning. So yeah, very interesting. This stuff, the phenomenon definitely interacts with our consciousness. We are co-creating many of these events. Our consciousness is participating, knowingly or not, in the creation of a lot of these events. Now, there does seem to be parts of the phenomenon that are independent of us, our consciousness or higher self, whatever, and it's doing its own thing independent of any co-creation. It would be wonderful if we could, delineate what's a co-creation and what's independent of us. But either way, that's a different conversation. But they were seeing UFOs, they were seeing Bigfoot, they were seeing poltergeist, basically a whole stew of phenomena, all part of what I call the greater phenomenon. You know, all the stuff they're seeing at Skinwalker Ranch, for example. So, yeah, another great case where they were seeing all the various aspects of the greater phenomenon all coming together in one place. Really cool, really good stuff. So, yeah. Meanwhile, what the heck is that? What is on top of that Sphinx, okay? And why can't we go inside the Sphinx? We know there are hidden chambers within the Sphinx. What are the Egyptologists? What is their justification for not allowing people inside the Sphinx? Because you know there's got to be some answers to some mysteries inside the Sphinx, right? I want to know what is in there. And what's up with the labyrinth, too. I was talking about the labyrinth not long ago. The labyrinth, outside or below one pyramid has been mapped out. I think a LiDAR or something like that mapped out the pyramid. Huge, huge complex. We need eyes on that labyrinth, and it probably needs to be preserved because it's totally flooded. So, yeah, we need some preservation efforts on the labyrinth. We need to know what mysteries there are in the labyrinth, what answers to certain mysteries are in that labyrinth, and also what answers to what mysteries might be in the Sphinx. Because, yeah, you can get in there. You can get in there. And there's other places you can get in besides. Meanwhile, check out this really cool orb, guys. This is real cool. And it makes a noise, so I'll leave the sound on. And, yeah, you tell me what you think this thing is. All right. It's gonna appear momentarily. There we go. There we go. All right. And at a certain point, you'll see that it wobbles. And when it wobbles, it makes a noise. Or, maybe it's making some speaker in the room make a noise. It's unclear if the sound is coming from the orb or not. Let me know what you think is making that noise. But here we go. Okay, it's coming down. It's coming down eventually. Oh, and apparently there was a meteor shower right around when this orb appeared. So yeah, look at that. Interesting maneuvers from this orb. Now, some have speculated that this is a spider and that the camera is just making it look like a crazy orb. So what do you think? Is this a spider spinning its web and the camera is just making it look like a crazy orb? Or is this an actual paranormal or alien, whatever it is, orb? Hard to say. Hard to say. I tend to think this is probably genuinely paranormal, but my mind is open. A lot of things that look paranormal or alien end up having prosaic explanations, of course, and that's just how it goes. But okay, let's listen to the sound that it makes. Very interesting. So it wobbles and then it makes a noise. Right when it wobbles, it makes a noise. Check it out. Yeah, you can see it kind of going crazy, making weird shapes right there. That's right when it makes the noise right there. Yeah, very, very interesting, compelling footage of, yeah, either an orb or a spider. Of course, spiders don't make noises like that. So, but let me know what you think that is in the comments below. Oh, and a really cool point from John Stewart about Göbekli Tepe. He says, it's 11,000 BC. Your babies die at a rate of 3 out of 5. Your mate has to kill animals for food. You pick berries and roots despite being mauled by animals. Total survival. And one day you say, hey, let's take 10-ton blocks and make a 7-acre monument aligned to true north. Absolutely, John. A great point. The people that built Göbekli Tepe were hunter-gatherers. Agriculture only seems to have been discovered or invented around the time of the creation of Göbekli Tepe, maybe even afterwards. Did the building of Göbekli Tepe spark the need for agriculture? agriculture. What is going on with I can't say it, guys. Gobekli Tepe. Gobekli Tepe. Gobekli Tepe. Okay, I did it. I think I got it close enough, guys. I think I got it close enough. But yeah, just a fascinating mystery that some speculate was built or inspired by the survivors of Atlantis, who were seeding elements of their civilization and their know-how all over the world. And Gobekli Tepe, whose name I totally pronounced correctly that time, may be one of the fruits of that. Or else, what is your explanation for the creation of this amazing site by hunter-gatherers, as John Stewart very correctly points out? Great stuff and a huge mystery. Another huge mystery is this guy right here. This was found in a Nubian pyramid. 800 BC, depicting a giant holding elephants. Now, this could be a depiction of Gilgamesh, of course, the famous giant from the famous story. Was there a scene where he was holding pyramids? Excuse me. Well, he could be holding pyramids too, but I don't think he was that big. But was there a scene in Gilgamesh, the story, where he was holding elephants? I'm not familiar with that scene, but I am anything but a scholar on Gilgamesh. So let me know if you think that corresponds to a depiction of a scene in Gilgamesh, or if the Nubians were depicting some other giant. Let me know. I'm very curious about the giants. Meanwhile, check this out, guys. Robots assembly line. Skynet approves of this video. Look at this. They are building human robots. Yeah, where's Harrison Ford when you need him? I mean, that's just creepy. Look at that, guys. Look at that. Oh my God! It's got 6 arms. It's got 6 arms, guys. But even 6 arms, I can really kind of handle. But the human-looking ones are nuts, guys. Human-looking ones are nuts. Got good legs though. Got good legs. I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. But creepy. Speaking of creepy. The lovely Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick was recently interviewed by Stephen Greenstreet from the New York Post. I'm not going to go into that interview. I haven't watched it. I have no interest in watching that video. But it is there if you want it. Personally, I'm sticking with David Grush. I'm sticking with David Grush for UFO disclosure, not the lovely Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, who will talk about how there is a cult within Washington, D.C. that has been brainwashed to believe in UFOs, and they are spreading this UFO propaganda from this UFO cult. And that is what Sean Kirkpatrick has to say about that, and he has said that repeatedly. I am sure that he says something like that in the interview with Stephen Greenstreet. And again, I have no interest in watching it, but it is there if you are morbidly curious. But I stand with Grush, and I do not stand with the lovely Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick. But there you go. There's my UFO news roundup for today. Let me know what you think about it all in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. I sure would appreciate it. Smash the like button and the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media, Facebook and Twitter, links below. Love to see you guys there. If you wanted to support Cosmic Road in an even bigger way, consider grabbing a coffee mug or a t-shirt in the merch store below, or by becoming a channel member. Channel members are rock stars, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. Meanwhile, there's plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.